Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by Generals Joe's Reborn.com, with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic AT. For today's episode, I'm all on my own. In this regular video series, I round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly. Hello everyone, how is everyone doing? It's been a while. Totally understand that, for obvious reasons, and well, I'll talk about it throughout the episode, I imagine. But yeah, this is a first week back. I'm on my own. I'm not with Pat. I'm gonna do I'm just kind of like easing back into live streaming, basically. So for those that aren't aware, unfortunately, our little gorgeous angel Phoebe passed away last week. And it's, well, yeah, I've forgotten how long it's been actually, but yeah, she passed away, and of course we've been trying to get over, or like trying to get back to normal, basically, at home and everything. It's been pretty rough. So yeah, because of that, we took like a slight hiatus. Now I know that also affected the HASBRO interview, which has been rescheduled, but we're still doing it. It's all good. It's still happening. Just a little delayed on that one. So my apologies for that. And of course, I couldn't really do live stream. I didn't feel up to it. I don't really feel up to it now, to be honest. But that's why I'm on my own today. Like Pat was very understanding. He said, he'll be back on next week, no doubt. But I just needed to kind of ease back in, I think, to the situation. So anyway, thank you very much for all your patience. Thank you for all the very amazing and beautiful things that you wrote on the posts on our personal pages, and of course on the Full Force page. We really appreciate it, and it's been weird, and it's been surreal, and it's been sad, and it's been rubbish, and it's been awful. But we move on and we keep moving forward. I don't know how it's gonna, depending on how today goes, we'll see how it goes for the foreseeable future. But at one point, I must admit, I did consider just going, I'm not going to bother doing this anymore. Just for all of the, I don't know, it's been one of those it's been a weird year. It's been a difficult year. It's been a rough year. And of course, with Phoebe as well passing away, it's just been like, I don't know, just been added crap. And I don't really talk about it on here very often, because it's not something I want to kind of like put out as something that's really affecting me or bothering me. But there's a lot of things in the comments that bother me a lot of the time. People can be a bit negative, bit nasty, bit towards me personally. There are other kind of channels that have a go, and I don't really understand why. A lot of the time I don't really say anything or do anything to provoke a lot of this. And it's been recently, it's just been kind of one of those things that's been too much to really deal with. And obviously with the added addition of the added kind of like stress and crap that's happened very recently, it's just been really, I just haven't really felt like, what's the point? I do this to enjoy it. I do it to kind of chat with you guys. I do it to have nice conversations about stuff, to be excited about things, to enjoy the brand for what it is at the moment. And, to talk about this stuff as nerds, and to get some weird, like directly insulting stuff that I get on a daily basis in comment sections, on like the periphery, in other, like, again, I get sent a lot of stuff, because I try not to pay attention to it, but people just send it to me anyway. And so it gets a little bit on top of me at times. So it's like, sometimes I just want to jack it all in. And I did feel that way at the beginning. Before doing this episode, I was kind of like, do I just not bother anymore? Do I just kind of jack it in? So we'll see how things go. But at the moment, delicate is probably a perfect word to describe how I'm feeling, how we're feeling as a family, and how I'm feeling about the sort of kind of, like, I'm gonna say, like, the kind of directly personal stuff that I get. It sucks, man. It really does. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't affect me. It does. And I don't understand why people do it. I don't understand why people are having a direct go. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that aside, um, let's get on with the show. We've got lots of news to talk about. I thought I'd start off with that, get us all hyped, and then go from there. In any case, yeah, we've got some news to discuss. So we'll start off with a bit of, well, higher news because it's higher, isn't it? Yes, Hiya Profit Director Destro has been leaked, image-wise, courtesy of Surveillance Port and Patrick Chan of the 118 Premium Hub on Facebook, which have been a really good source actually. The Premium Hub has been an amazing source of information recently. Like we've been getting some cool images from um, different kind of expos in the Far East as well, like as it Shanghai, I think it was, where they showed off. Well, we'll be talking about it in a second. Actually, the Transformers GI Joe crossover, kind of in hand figures, the Sarge, Leatherneck, and Cup, of course. And yeah, now we've got Hiya Toys kind of like getting an image leak in there too. So now, shall we talk the funny aspect of this? Of course, the image, obviously, phenomenal looking figure. It's a really cool design. I love the classified version. Um, where is it? There he is. I see him. I see him hiding away. I've actually put because what I did with Snake Supreme, Cobra Commander, Prophet Director Destro, I thought they looked very much at home in the Crimson Strike team sort of department. So I've kind of like curated the Crimson, all the Crimson releases, apart from the Red Ninjas, which now I'm thinking I should probably put the Red Ninjas in there as well, just to kind of really make it Crimson. But yeah, I feel like they kind of work really well with that particular look and vibe. So that's what I went with. In any case, yeah, it's a higher figure. It looks really cool. It's got very heavy, close, design cues to the classified version, if not almost identical, bar some of the kind of like proportion design around the legs and the waist. Which I know if Pat was here, he'd mention that the thighs are a little bit far apart. But anyway, um, yeah, I think it looks really cool. Thanks for the comments in the chat. Sorry, by the way, guys, I'm not seeing all of it, but I appreciate some of those comments. Thank you, guys. Now, the funny aspect of this, obviously, is that Cobra Commander has very recently started shipping and arriving for some people, I believe. So the Cobra Commander's finally out there. But that means that we've got 3 on the board. Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Cobra Commander have finally made it out there. The problem we have is that there are still, I think it's like 19 pre-orders out. I think that's the remaining 20, I think it's 22 overall, isn't it? This would be 23 or this might be 22. But yeah, like it's a lot. And this being an exclusive for, I think I've forgotten what the exclusives were. This is the Shanghai one, isn't it? I think. Yes, the Shanghai Wonder Festival, that's the one. Shanghai Wonder Festival 2024. This is the exclusive for that show. So not only is this hard to get anyway, because it's a higher figure, but it's also an exclusive. So good luck to everyone who's trying to get this one. Yeah, that's all I'm pretty much going to say on it. I mean, we've seen the figure in Destro, we've seen the figure in the classified series. We know pretty much what to expect to a degree. We haven't had the Destro figure in hand yet because that is about 10 or 9 or 10 along in the pre-order. I don't even know the order with which the pre-orders are going to be dropping because I have lost all memory of the order that they came out in, that Hiya revealed them in. It's been pretty insane. Peter Malign says CC would be my first and last hire if it ever arrives. Good luck. I hope it does get there. I got the 3.0 version of this, says RKW. Yes, absolutely. Hire is like getting 30 new dates from speed dating, but you never go out with any of them. That's a good point, Leon. It is. Um, Thank you, Jeffrey, for that comment. Appreciate it, mate. 3 out of 176 pre-orders is pretty good. Yes, right, it is, isn't it? I hope we get Profit Director Iron Grenadiers. That would be kind of cool, Pass, wouldn't it? Actually, that would be a cool. That hasn't happened, has it? I don't think that's happened in any aspect of the brand yet. I'm trying to think if there are any IGs that are kind of like even close, like like hinted at a slight deco, but no, I don't think there's been anything like that. Um, it will be rarer than the original Profit Director. Yes, it will, Jeffrey. Yeah. Um, Chris G says, I thank Hire for not making ever actually consider spending money. Yeah, exactly. Um, Talking Joe, Mark, how you doing, buddy? I wasn't sure if this was a new reveal or just an updated view of a previous announcement. No, it is. It's a leak to reveal, should we say? It hasn't been revealed at all yet. Order should be, says Jeffrey, following Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Cobra Commander in that order. Beachhead, Flint, Firefly, Jay, Major Blood, Destro. So I was right. Destro's like 9th along, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I say 9? I think I said 11 actually. But yeah, 9th. That's not bad. Baroness 10, TF Flint, Gung Ho, Cobra Trooper, Zartan, Spirit and Freedom, Tomax, separately Zaymot, Crocmaster, Stalker, Dusty, Crimson Guard, and the most recently revealed Viper. Thank you, Jeffrey, for that. That's actually nice. That's actually good to know. And you're right. It does feel correct in the way that we've seen these figures come out. But yeah, so interesting. People might even have this Destro before the regular one. I mean, almost certainly, if you're going to have a show exclusive that you can get at the show, that's if you can get it at the show and you're not just pre-ordering it during the show. But we'll see. It'd be cool if they do it. They might do a quarrel past the program based on the fact that we've got that in the classified series. Anyway, that's Hiya Toys. Now, I'll move on, but I'll throw this out to a few of you in the chat if you want to respond. What figure do you want to see in the Hiya Toys lineup for the exquisite minis? These are 4 inches, by the way, just in case anyone wasn't sure about that. I know that's probably not the case. I'm sure you are aware. But yes, if you, who do you want to see next? Basically, is what I'll say. I'm gonna say I think Quarrel. Now that you've said that and put that in my head, Pass. I think I'm probably gonna say Quarrel. But what do you who do you guys want to see next? Pass this Cool Breeze, just so I'll still never get one. Amazing. Snow Serpent, says RKW. Actually, that's not bad. That is not a bad shout, is it? I think a Snow Serpent figure for this, for these would be great in that kind of classified scale, especially the one with the wolf pelt and all that kind of stuff. I want the Vietnam LRRP trio, says Leon. Yes, the long range recon patrol of Stalker, Snake Eye, Stalker Tommy, and Snake Eyes. Robo Joe, yes, that would be ridiculous. Ryan, you always come up with the most ridiculous options, and I'm here for him. Stygian says, Hiya Cobra Commander just arrived for some in Asia. Yes, he did. Right then, cool. So we'll move on from that because next up we are talking. I think we're talking Transformers G.I. Joe Collaborative Triple T Cup spotted. Let's do that. Yeah, so the Transformers G.I. Joe Collaborative Triple T Cup with the O-ring Sarge and Leatherneck has snuck out image-wise, courtesy of, again, the Premium 118 Hub, who are, like I said, all over this stuff at the moment for the 4-inch figures and 3 3/4, of course, in this case. And these were on display in Taiwan at the Fancy Frontier Anime Expo in Taipei. So I think that's all the information there that you're going to require. And again, once again, another big shout out to the Premium 118 Hub on Facebook. As you can see here, I've split them all up nicely so you can see them all. There you go. This is the first image that popped up showing them all together. So we've got the cup in vehicle mode, in robot mode, and of course Leatherneck driving, which is interesting. I like the fact they stuck Leatherneck in there because they wanted the Sarge to be out on the show so everyone could see him, I guess. Or they just don't understand that the Sarge is the Triple T driver. Anyway, that said, it's still pretty cool to see these figures. Slay says we need Scarlet. Scarlet's a good shout for Hiya Toys, absolutely. And Super Trooper. I'm actually gonna switch from Quarrel to Super Trooper now you said that pass for the Hiya Toys releases anyway. Hasbro seems to be getting the handle on O-ring. They look sharp and seem like they might have the neck ball. Yeah, they've obviously got the stick the wrong way around as well, Mark, haven't they? In how he's holding it. But anyway, yeah, I must admit, I do like the look of Cup in the vehicle mode and in robot mode for this one. It's a really, I mean, the vehicle modes have been phenomenal for the Transformers collabs. The Ore Striker is actually one of the best Ore Strikers available. I love it. I really like some of the details on there as well. And of course, like the Bumblebee mode isn't great, but the actual vehicle mode is phenomenal. The His Tank's phenomenal as well. I haven't actually got the Thunder Machine, but I hear good things about how good that is. And Soundwave looks really solid in robot mode. I do like Cup as the robot mode in this, but I definitely do prefer the vehicle modes with the collaboratives. And the figures do look really sharp. Here we see Leatherneck, a bit of a close up here on Leatherneck, and of course the Sarge holding his his stick the wrong way around. It does look a little bit more like a whip now. Yeah, you're right. Transform my robot minion. Thwip, indeed. King Ape wants to see the Cobra Bat for hire. I like that. Well, for Hiya Toys, not literally for able to rent. But yeah, the Cobra Bat would be very cool with Hiya Toys King Ape. Good morning, Yorktown Joe. Looks like cartoon colored Sarge here, so it's an alternate to the OG figure. I think you're right, Leon. Yeah, the kind of there is an ever so slight difference in the kind of pants camo, and I don't think is his belt white in the original figure. I think it probably is. I can't think off the top of my head now. I'm going to get an image of the Sarge up. I think if my phone wakes up today, because I want to see exactly what we're dealing with in terms of deco and everything. Have I done the two Joes one cup joke today? Yeah. Well, no, but I have now, thanks to that comment. Mark, genius. Yeah, he doesn't have his belt painted white in the original. I thought that was the case. So he's a lot, yeah, and obviously the brown and green are definitely more cartoon, whereas it was a kind of blue and green, kind of teal and green, almost like green and green, basically, isn't it, for his pants on the original? You can see here, no white belt, and of course the pants are completely different colors. The boots, I believe, are all black. They might have a little stripe on them. I can't remember actually. No, they're all black, aren't they? The originals. So that stripe on them is a new deco as well, new deco here. And of course the whistle was green, the hat was green. On here it's complete. Yeah, so it's 100% a comic version, a cartoon version. So that's something again that's going to differentiate this one with the one you already have. And I'm here for it. The shades are slightly different as well. Like you can really see the rims. Kitty said on his shades on the new one. Anyway, yeah, it's nice that they've done that. And do you know what's funny? I hadn't even really thought about the difference in deco to this point. But yeah, it's really cool. My fan channel store Canada already have it in stock. Going to get it this week. Awesome, Luke. What are we talking about? Are we talking about this collab, or are we talking about the Hiya Cobra Commander? It's a wand with a wisp of gun smoke. Post spell turn someone into a ditty bag. I like it. So you're saying it's a wand pass, not a yeah, with the wisp at the top, like a little magic wisp. I like that. Belt, hat, and camo are all different. Yes, absolutely. I need an Eco Warriors or Ninja Force Sarge. Could you imagine? Good to see you back in, Chris. No, Pat, he will miss when Baroness unlocks with only 79 to go. Yes, Eben. We're not far away, are we, from the Baroness being unlocked? And I was going to do I'm not going to be able to do that until after the show, but I was going to do a kind of like a bit of a Photoshop job to show that she'd been unlocked, because they take ages to put the unlocked icon on the images on their thing. So I was just going to do it myself, and then I was going to have it ready to post. I forgot to do it, and now I'm not going to be able to, and she's probably going to unlock while we're on the show. Oh, the Triple T Transformers, brilliant, Luke. So that's in your fan channel store in Canada. Impressive. Yeah, cool. Right then, so I think that's everything to look at. Did I put any more images on here? No, I didn't. That is everything for this. So yeah, excited to actually see this one in hand pretty soon. And we'll move on. So next up, we have an absolute crap ton of classified updates to get through. So let's get stuck in. Yes, so much classified stuff has happened. And again, I know I haven't been on for a couple of weeks either. So some of this is from the previous week, some of it is from, basically, you know, like recently. But we've had leaks, we've had in-hand images of new figures, we've had updates on the HasLab, we've had listings from Amazon go up. I mean, there's so much to get stuck into. We'll start though with this. So obviously this popped up first, and this was Entertainment Earth's Drop Zone popped in their usual ahead of the game pre-order kind of like tease. So on their drop zone, they post reminders so that you can kind of click on these and get reminders for when they get when pre-orders go up, brand new ones. And Entertainment Earth, of course, usually do all of the GI Joe ones as well, all of the fan channel ones, or the non-exclusive specific ones, of course. And we got this where it says reinforcements are just around the corner, but we can't quite make out their dog tags from here. We all better sign up for a reminder so we can get these new recruits as soon as pre-orders go live. So lots of insinuations about multiple pre-orders. Obviously, September the 13th is PulseCon. So we've got that to come. I can't believe that's just like Friday, like coming. That's crazy to me how fast that's come around. It's very likely we don't get the interview done until after PulseCon, which is a shame, I know, but I'll do my best to. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it, to wait till PulseCon comes and goes now. Obviously, it made sense to do it when I wanted to do it and then do something else afterwards, but now it probably makes sense to just do everything in one go. So I have been collating your questions, by the way, for the team. So I've kind of worked a super document of questions for them. Now, not only have we had this, but we've had something else, which Amazon listings, which we'll talk about later. I'll do them closer to the other listing images that we have towards the end of this segment, but we'll be coming back to PulseCon very shortly to discuss what we may be seeing for that show. Now, shout out to Shark-Eyed Pics and Shark-Eyed Toy View on YouTube, Adam, for obviously posting images of his retro Cobra Trooper. He did send me more images, but I was in a daze and haven't added them on here. You can obviously check his images out on his Instagram page, and of course go to his YouTube channel to check out all of the reviews that he does. Mega Marine Sarge with Play-Doh armor. Oh, that'd be quite cool. Are you sort of Viper Scat? You talking about a higher release? Because that'd be fun. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm caught up on comments. Anyway, yeah. So Shark-Eyed Toys View or Shark-Eyed Pics on Instagram. You can go and check out images of those. But the Trooper looked pretty cool. It's the only thing I will say about the Trooper is I wish they'd just done a different Trooper completely. I feel like this was one of that in that wave where they'd kind of, you've got the chrome, you've got the Vac Metal on Cobra Commander, you've got a new build basically in Stalker, a new deco in Stalker, not a new build. But there isn't a lot of like brand new in there, if that makes sense. Whereas I think they could have focused that into this Trooper, and we could have got like a different, more classically inspired Cobra Trooper, personally. So I think that would have been more beneficial, I think, in this. Like, it's one of those things for me where it turns in from I've got to get a few of these to I just need to get the one in order to satiate the classified collection. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me personally, I don't know if that's how you guys kind of see it, this kind of stuff sometimes. And I know some of you, if you're not into it, you won't buy it at all, and that's totally fair. Like I get I get exactly where you're coming from in that that at that angle. I guess the fact that you've got something so cool in Cobra Commander with the vac metal, and you've got something very cool in Stalker being like retroed up, very very similar to his card art, which I love, by the way. So there's a lot of really cool stuff in that wave, but again, I wish they'd kind of pushed the boat out a little bit with the Trooper, gone with something excuse me, gone with something a little bit more retro inspired. I think that'd have been really, really cool. Anyway, that aside, it's they're coming basically. Now also, and I also just need to double check. This is Toy News International posted this initially that I saw, and obviously it's from SB_toys, I believe on Instagram. But SB_toys posted the images of their Stalker and Cobra Commander in package as well, and of course out of the package, so we get to see a lot of the the actual details of these figures. Obviously the backs, this exactly the same as we've seen so far, no big deal there, but then the figures, I have to admit, look really nice. I love the deco on both of these. I think Stalker looks amazing. I'm really excited to get this kind of retro OG Stalker in my display with all the other retro kind of figures. And Cobra Commander, I love the fact they went with the different deco here. Now there's a difference in blue. So the blue is slightly kind of deeper and darker. There's a teal, the teal kind of, or the kind of light blue, I should say, not teal, the light blue undershirt, which is a different color on the other Cobra Commander. I believe it's black on the other Cobra Commander. And obviously non-existent on Once a Man. But yeah, I think it's black on the original. So that's a nice pop there. The white belt aspect. I can't remember if this is this cartoon or figure deco or both. I want to say cartoon deco, but I could be wrong. You'll probably tell me in the comments anyway. Longer gloves as well. You're right, absolutely, Mr. Mad Gus. So yeah, I'm kind of vibing on both of these a lot. The Vac Metal is phenomenal. It is cartoon, isn't it? I thought, yeah, it's got that cartoon vibe to it, hasn't it? Yeah, and I'm just, again, like I said, I'm really vibing on these decos, and I love that Stalker beret in camo. I think it's so card art inspired, and I'm really happy they kind of did that. I know not everyone is. Does the other Stalker beret work in its place? Like if you switch them, for those that are kind of upset that it's not like the toy. Anyway, cartoon with a deeper blue. Thank you, Leon. And the Hiss Retro CC was based on the old toy, says Ryan. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, cool. And yeah, there you go. There's another good shot of Cobra Commander, and another nice look at that kind of very intense vac metal faceplate. These are classified, Daniel. I had to cancel Stalker since money is tight. Maybe I'll find it later. Hopefully, pass. Stalker still has one of the best heads. I know. I think Stalker's amazing. Yes, Leon. I'm a big fan of the Stalker figure. I just wasn't a massive fan of the deco, but I kind of enjoyed it for what it was in that kind of classified update style. But the fact we've got this new one with the brighter kind of camos is awesome. There's a shot of Cobra Commander from the rear for those that wanted to see that. And of course, Stalker from the back with his gun holster, his gun sack. What? His gun pack, I guess. But yeah, again, you can really see the nice green and green on green camo there. Yeah, brilliant stuff. And here he is from the front as well. Nice shots. Anyway, I think there's more. Yeah, there is. There is. There you go. There's him holding his machine gun, and there he is with his pistol. So, and he's taking his beret off there. So look, you can switch him out if you want. But I definitely have to say I'm a big fan of the Stalker deco, and I do like that Cobra Commander. Even that said, with the Trooper, like I said before, I think I'm just going to get the one. I kind of did the same with the Snow Serpent. You know, I'm just getting the one. I'm not going to get loads. I kind of wanted to get a few, but the fact they don't have, they kind of feel unfinished to me, the Snow Serpents in the retro series, which is a shame, but that's kind of how it feels. So I'm just going to get one to have it on card, and then that'll probably be that. Anyway, that is all of the retro in hand stuff. We also had um, an interesting post. Ross Persichetti, who is a sculptor and artist has done a few things for the Classified series, posted a number of really awesome pieces of work for the Classified line on his website, and link in the description if you want to check these out as well. And there's more things on his website as well that you can check out. I just highlighted a few aspects because I really was just fascinated with what he'd done here. Obviously, here we have two elements from Nemesis Immortal, who we'll hopefully be seeing very soon, although it doesn't necessarily look like it might be PulseCon now, maybe 1027, but we'll get to that in a second. As you can see, there's some beautiful design on those wings. The more I see these wings, the more I like them. And seeing them like this, I'm kind of won over by how they look. A lot of people were kind of like, I don't like the wings because they're a little bit too like thin, and you know the articulation means that they kind of look a little kind of like skinny for him. But I think when they're folded in like this and sit either side, I think they kind of work really well as the kind of like, you know, hefty sized wing for him. And then also when obviously they open out, it just creates a more dynamic look for the flight and everything. So I don't know. I think I'm a big fan of seeing this, and of course we'll see some leaked images of the figure soon as well. And something that Pat and I were talking about on the last 2 weeks ago episode, Pat had mentioned that he wasn't sure if the wings were going to be transparent based on the kind of like test shot that kind of we were looking at. Turns out they might be semi-opaque, which is really, really cool. So where you got the kind of flesh parts of the wings, you can definitely see light cutting through what would be the thinner plastic there. So I am quite excited at the thought that we might have, yeah, some transparency, if not like transparency, some opaqueness, which is really cool. Yeah, so yeah, and I love obviously the little creature as well that you know, we've seen numerous times throughout the brand with Cobra La inspired releases. Yeah. We're getting really close to the Baroness, by the way. Hopefully by the time we get to the actual section about the Haslab updates, it'll be done. Yeah, we'll be talking about Mr. Mad Gus. We'll be looking at that very image very soon. He's also sculpted the Once a Man Snake, Cobra Commander Snake person, which is really cool. This Ross does amazing animals, it would appear. I mean, this is insane. He's also done, if you look at his work, he's done other animals and other lines as well. He does some really, really good sculpt work. And art, actually. We'll be looking at some of the work he did with Robert Atkins in a second as well. But this is gorgeous. I love this one of I mean, that snake is insane. I do have that Cobra Commander, thankfully. I was very fortunate to be able to pick one up. But yeah, it's amazing. Now also, like as I was talking about animals, he also did a pork belly. And again, the attention to detail on this one is quite phenomenal. All the hair strands and the texture in the body, and it's just stunning. And all of the stuff going on in the mouth and the tusks and the nose ring and all that stuff, quite impressive. So yeah, Ross does some beautiful work, and there's some more of it right there with pork belly. Now he also posted these, which is really cool to see, and we finally get technically our first look at the microphone arm on Dial Tone's backpack, which I'm not sure if people were aware this was the first time we've seen it. Certainly the first time I have been aware of seeing it at all in any way, shape, or form. We've had a render from the back looking directly at it, which showed a lump but not a mic in any up or down. It was probably down like that as it's being shown right now. But it didn't really show what the mic looked like. We also had leaked images of kind of like first shots or test shots or prototype images of the backpack pop out as well, courtesy of Shaw Lu, and those images didn't show the mic. So it's really cool to finally see the mic. Who's Mike? And it's probably as I expected, but I still like the fact we've got the little detail in the interior, like the kind of the kind of like section where you kind of speak into the little mic itself. I think that's really cool. And yeah, I love the build of this. I love the details on that entire backpack. I love the fact that they kept a lot of the kind of like original details in there, changed them slightly to make sense, but they're still all there, which is really cool. So it's a beautiful backpack, and I'm really excited to get dial tone. And then, of course, he also sculpted the dog tags for the 60th, and he sculpted what appears to be Alpine's secondary rope and his kind of like ice axe sort of climbing thingies as well, climbing axes, which are really sweet as well. So good work there, Ross. He also did artwork, like kind of with kind of like as a kind of co. I'm not sure the detail that I'm not sure like how he and Robert kind of worked on this together. Robert Atkins often usually works with his brother Brian for a lot of the kind of coloring of kind of artwork. So it's interesting to see here that this was kind of like a two people's work basically, with Robert Atkins and Ross Persichetti. And this is artwork that we've seen used for the Renegade Game Studios games and all that kind of stuff. So before you all start going, oh, are we getting a classified Mirage or a classified Cletus or whatever? No, not not based on these. These are Renegade Game Studios pieces, for I think the almost for the most part anyway. Oh yeah, so Mark's throwing in a bit more information here. Robert probably did the pencils, which are then finished in color. That's what I was kind of saying with him and Brian. So I think, yeah, you're probably right here. Ross has probably done the colorization on these, the coloring on these after the fact. Yeah, which is really cool. Is that Hydro Viper's vest on the 60th seal? I mean, I don't think they could reutilize it. It's a possibility beyond her, I guess, but no, there's no clear indication we're getting a Hydro Viper just yet. Not that we won't be sooner or later, but yeah, we haven't heard anything of a Hydro Viper yet, but it very much could be. Yes, Eben has mentioned that once a man was up on Wednesday early morning on Pulse and then taken down. Maybe they found a few under a desk or something. Yes, I did notice that. We posted a link to say that it had gone back up on and was in as a pre-order, and it was up for a fair amount of time, considering that hasn't stayed up very long. But yeah, it was gone. Like I don't know how long it was, but it was. It not only was it kind of not in stock anymore and not available to pre-order, it wasn't even visible on the site anymore. So good luck to those. I hope everyone that tried to get one did manage to get a Once a Man Cobra Commander. Is that a Dreadhead in there? It is, Carl. Yeah, that's why I said Cletus before, but it could be like Dreadhead, Billy Bob, or something like that. I can't remember. My knowledge of the names of those Dreadnoks are terrible, because I was appalled by that as a box set. He's never left the UK site, says Leon. That's also quite interesting, isn't it? How that's happened. Yeah, so hopefully people are able to get him, or have been able to get him. He'll probably come back, though, let's face it. He'll probably be back up again on the site and up for pre-order again. It'll in and out, shake it all about. And then there'll be that weird thing. It'll kind of like turn up like randomly, and you'll be able to get them in some random store, like there's some overstock or something somehow. Something will happen. You know how it is. Anyway, that is the Ross Persichetti stuff. Now let's move on to the Haslab Rattler updates. Now, as we sit here talking about said Rattler situation, I'm going to I did have this up ready to go, but obviously had to search for something else, and then For some reason, my phone's acting very slow. I might plug it in just in case. We're up to 17,938. That's impressive. Now, it's possible we hit 18,000 before the end of the show, but the way things have been going this morning, it's only been like, the odd few that it's been going up. It hasn't been going up a massive amount. So it's very likely that by the end of this episode, we'll still be waiting for the Baroness to get unlocked. But it's probably going to be today, isn't it? Let's face it. And there are only 2 days to go, which means that usually we've got like a big spike to come as well. So we'll probably get a jumping on once the Baroness. I think what'll happen is once the Baroness ticks over 18,000, you'll probably start seeing people jumping in and go, okay, cool, I'm in, blah, 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 and then it'll go. But even if it doesn't, I'd be happy at just breaking over 18K. I'd just be happy that they unlocked everything. It would be really cool. I think it's probably not enough time left now to add anything if they were going to do some sort of like special edition to the campaign, even if it did, bust a ton more, and maybe even go into like the 22s to 25 kind of category. Even though I think it's a bit too late for them to start throwing things in there, but we'll see, I guess. But it's been a pretty standard issue, successful campaign so far. So, and yeah, but anyway, let's look at the behind the scenes images that they posted very recently. But I will say, bar the patches, which seems to have been the worst thing to ever happen to the G.I. Joe brand since the last thing that happened to the G.I. Joe brand 2 weeks prior to that happening. It does. I mean, the cycles are pretty hilarious, aren't they? I wonder if there'll be like a re-energizing of the patch hate when the actual vehicle comes in and the patches are in hand. I wonder if there'll be like another reinvigoration of like people burning patches and stuff like that. I'm just trying to think about what the future may hold for the next massive scandal in the G.I. Joe fandom. In any case, patches. I had to say it, didn't I? Now, we had some great shots here of, kind of like parts in the kind of painting process, all separated out, all kind of like receiving their touch-ups, Kitty said. I can't believe people are still whining about the patches. I can't either, honestly. I can't either. Can we just put it to bed now? Once Man Cobra Commander has hit retailers here in Oz and is readily available. Shark Eyes, cool, nice one. You'll probably have again. There'll probably be a situation where everyone can probably get one, and it won't be as big a deal. I think it's just always the case with these things where people can't get them at the same, like early, like straight away. I think that's more the problem, isn't it? Still wish they would have included some Cobra Ordnance crew figures. Yeah, same, Wilfredo. Actually, something would have been really like ground crew or something would have been amazing. Never underestimate mean fans hating on the patches. Keep it positive. Yeah, I don't hate the patches. I don't agree they should have been a tier. They should have been a bonus, like an early bird bonus would have been fine, wouldn't it? An early bird for those patches would have been totally fine. Or just even not even that, just like, oh, by the way, at the end, we're throwing these patches in for those that backed it. So you can also be a wild weasel, or you can be a, that kind of thing. That would have been fun and nice. I think putting it as a tier was probably a poor move, and they'll learn from it. They'll learn from it. I'm sure they've heard this loud and clear. Yes, Paul, indeed. And they'll probably, but like, it's one thing to, it's one thing to give feedback, and it's another thing to have a complete meltdown, isn't it? Basically. Excuse me. Yes, the Taurus piece that we looked at earlier, Mark. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? That, and Robert Atkins. Yes, he did the pencils that back in 2022 for, I think, I want to say it was for Renegade Game Studios. Still think they could throw in some parachutes as a bonus tier, 24K. That would be kind of fun. Something that isn't a figure, but is something kind of cool that you can use with your figures. Yeah, that would be kind of neat. Daniel says patch is going to look dope on my Firefly bomber jacket. Oh, that's a good shout. The Super 7 one, or the one that Super 7 was selling. Yeah, that would be wicked. Um, yeah, what Rogue KT21 says, I expect we will get a ground crew set closer to the shipping of the Rattler next year. Okay, yeah, so in the same way they did the Fire Team and Airborne coming out later. Yeah, there'll probably be some figures that we get that make sense with the Rattler in the future. Yes. Anyway, sorry. Ramp Rats, Vibe Scout. Yes, indeed. Right. So yeah, we get these great shots of the kind of painting process for the Gunner here and Wild Weasel, assorted parts there, and the Baroness on top. I love they use these trays. These are the kind of trays I see a lot of working in this particular industry. I feel like everyone uses these trays, no matter what company you're at, whatever kind of in the toy industry anyway. And it's fun to see that they're using them as well. Anyway, it's awesome. Um, Twisted Kister, I agree. I totally agree what you're saying. But again, I think it's one of those things where, like I said, I don't think it was worth a tier as a patch. I don't think patches were worth a tier, but I feel like the feedback from the fandom has been heard, and they probably won't do anything like that again. Um, and if they do, that's when we lose our minds. That's when the meltdown happens, because it's like we've been through this. But again, it's the third HasLab for classified, and I still feel like they're ironing things out. They were ironing things out of the His tank. They noticed that the base offering needed to be, all the additional elements for the vehicle needed to be involved in the base offering. So they switched that format to the Dragonfly, and they've done the same again for the Rattler. So everything that attaches to the Rattler is in the base offering. That makes sense. They didn't do those as tiers anymore. But I think now going forward, they're probably not going to do another tier that is something that isn't either a figure or, well, the tiers will probably just be for figures only going forward, I would imagine. That said, I don't know for sure. And then we've got the input, or the kind of like, this would be a kind of maybe almost like presentation art for Wild Weasel, or maybe turnaround. I don't even know what you would call this. Input's probably the wrong term, because input is like when you see the figure front, back, side to side, that in its action figure design form fully, that then can be interpreted into kind of like sculpt and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to say a lovely, colourful sketch of Wild Weasel and the details on the head sculpt and so on and so forth. Now, a lot of people have been very vocal and upset about the maps. They can be removed and replaced in whatever position you want them to be in. They go upside down, they go upside, they can go whatever way you want them to go. They can be moved around. So don't feel like just because they're messing it up in the images and it's the wrong way around, don't worry, you can change it. So that is something that is very, very, very awesome that they did. And I'm happy that they did that, so that people didn't have to complain about it, honestly. And then, of course, this is an input. So, and I suppose it is technically an input then. It's just a different pose they've got the figure in. But yeah, this is effectively the input, isn't it, for the figure, kind of showing all different angles and aspects of the figure, so you can see all the details and all that kind of jazz. And then they've color coded the tooling, I believe, in the right hand side. So all the purple parts will be together in a tool, the green parts will be together in a tool, the red parts will be together in a tool, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's just what is new and what is reused, possibly. That might be the case of what we're dealing with there. But yeah, it could be a Hulk version of Wild Weasel, Rogue. Amazing. Yeah, so flight helmet on. Please note the alt helmet has a damaged visor. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, of course, we've got some really cool aspects to these figures as well, which is really neat. Green Goblin Wild Weasel variant. I like that shout as well, Ryan. Cutting out an additional figure smells ever so slightly a wee whiff, mind you, of corporate greed creeping in. I hope it's not a trend. Stygian, it's a very good point. And to be honest, I mean, that's always it's a byproduct of it being a corporation, unfortunately. One of the one of the situations you'll find. I mean, you could say that about the entire budget for the run because of cost cutting in certain areas. Straight away, that's corporate greed technically, because they want to make as much profit on that as possible. Um, and obviously, I agree with you. I don't like it, but unfortunately, it's the trade off of it being Hasbro at the end of the day. Um, they're always going to try and maximize, aren't they? They're always going to try and maximize profit, which is funny when you find out, like, and I'm talking about like after the fact in like books and like interviews and stuff like that. You find out, like, speaking to kind of, ex people that used to work there and stuff like that. Some of the waste that goes on at corporations is truly outstanding, is astonishing sometimes. Like the fact that, loads of money gets poured into development things that never make it, or and like, go right to the point of coming out, and then just, no, we're going to cut that, chop it off and get rid of it. And it's just like the amount of money that's gone into the development of something to cut it off at that point is crazy. And that like for full lines that never made it out, for second series of figures, or waves of figures that never made it out, all that kind of stuff, is kind of like, it's interesting to me because they there's a lot of waste that goes on, I feel like. Do you know what I mean? Like, inefficiency is another one, Paul. Absolutely. The fact that, like, as a company, and especially during COVID, it's funny how everyone realized that we could do this job from home. We could do all of these jobs from home and not have to worry about commuting in, like running a giant building full of people and electricity and all that kind of stuff. You kind of think, like, sometimes it's like there's so many ways where companies could, really do well to save huge amounts of money, and instead find it elsewhere in other places, that you kind of think, does that matter at this point? But anyway, that's by the way. It's a different conversation, isn't it? Sorry. But I will say that I do find it astonishing when I find out some of the things that, some of the waste and the inefficiency and that kind of stuff at corporations, not just Hasbro, but all corporations and all companies that do this. But yeah, and the other thing you got to unfortunately understand as well is the fact that if it doesn't make them money, they're not going to do it anymore. So it has to be somewhat successful, and then the success, and obviously there's a scale to it, and that's where the greed comes in, because they're like, well, we could push this line a bit more and have more this and more that and more cool stuff, or we could just keep it as it is, maybe restrict it a little bit, because that's what happened initially. There were a lot of restrictions put on the classified series early on, even like after it had shown some level of success. The budget did not increase. In fact, I think the budget was actually cut even more at one point. And then obviously when it did really big numbers and the HasLab kicked off and all that kind of stuff, things started to change a little bit. But again, we're looking at, you know, we're looking at some like interesting. Sorry, I'll also mention there. Ben says collaboration works best face to face. No, you're totally right. There are moments when it's necessary. Day to day, though, probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you could probably do, with having like a couple of days where people work from home, and I think a lot of companies do that now, for people that do need to work from home, but or can, I should say, not do, but people that can work from home. But I feel like, even little things like, I remember working for a company years ago, and they would quite often send people, like, they'd send like everyone to the furthest possible part of the country away, to do like a thing where we all get together and discuss the kind of company and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, why? All of this could have been done on a Zoom call, and it could have been. There wasn't even any of that awkward, cringeworthy, what's the word? Like, oh, what do they call it? The cringeworthy kind of like team building stuff, right? which in some cases it's nice to do something naturally team building, like going out together and like, doing something fun together. But like when it's that forced sort of, we're gonna play this game in an office, in a conference hall. You're gonna pick a team and you're all gonna draw something on. It's like, oh God's sake, we are beyond this, aren't we? But anyway, and some of the expense that they would send like executives all over the country doing these things, and none of it was necessary at all. But in any case, that's by the by. But I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna just say that's another conversation for another time, basically. Anyway, the inputs look great. Here we got the gunner getting his paint on him. Looks pretty cool. Nice figure, actually. Corporate team building sucks. You always make a raft for some reason. Absolutely. We played Street Fighter in a meeting once. It was actually great. Now that's where it's next level pass, isn't it? Where you all go out. We did a team building. No, it wasn't even team building. It was just let's go out to the pub after work and all just relax and just have fun. And we did, and it was a natural team building exercise and genuinely made our team stronger and made me want to work for that company because I loved my colleagues at that job back in the UK. It was amazing. The company was okay when it comes to certain things, but they were it was I'm not going to get into the details, but it was a great group of people to work with. And it's funny, like when you find that, it's difficult to move away from it. And I did in the end because of other things, but like um some of the corporate stuff was embarrassing. It was embarrassing and yeah, difficult at times. Hell no, I'm not falling back trusting anyone to catch me. Exactly, Mr. Madcuss. Exactly. All of that stuff. I have built a raft. I have built a raft at a company team building exercise before, and I forgot about that until it was mentioned in the comments, and it was probably the most disastrous raft build ever. It was barrels and it was rope, and there was about 10 of us, and we had to race the other team to get across this lake. Hilarious. It was fun, don't get me wrong, and great, but it was the most disastrous outcome ever. And I think it even made people hate other people even more, because they just weren't, doing what they needed to do in the exercise. That said, hilarious. Humans do need to interact, Kevin. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone should work at home all the time. I'm not saying that. I'm 100% saying that they found ways to save a lot of money and didn't really act on that as much as they probably should do. But there's way more than just working from home. And like I said, a couple of days in the week would be nice, I think, for a lot of people to do that. Humans also need not to interact sometimes. It's, do you know what I'm saying? But no, I totally get what you're saying. I'm not saying everyone should work from home and we should all like hunker down in a basement. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it was my point of companies and corporations and what have you. Anyway, Gunner, here he is looking really cool. 60 rattlers to go. Really? I should check. Yeah. Oh no, 17,950, 50 to go. M price. In actual fact, it's moving a lot quicker, I think, now. We may even unlock the Baroness before we finish this, which is crazy. I'm interacting here. It's all I need, says Pass. Hilarious. Paul says, I've been working remotely for over 5 years and I'll never, ever go back. I've forgotten ever in there. There's another ever in there. You should see the waste in the aviation industry. Mind-boggling. I'm sure it is, Hydrus. I'm sure it has to be. I love that head sculpt on the gunner, says Mr. Madgus. Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? I love the helmets. The pilot helmets are so cool. The flight helmets, I should say. I was one of those people who went bananas on collecting during lockdown. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. I'm gonna double check that again. 9:53. It's moving. It's moving. Right. Anyway, We also get the inputs of the Baroness, or She-Hulk, as a lot of people have mentioned here, based on the same image on the right hand corner. Now, again, like I believe that is just to show the separate parts. Maybe it's figure parts, secondaries, and accessories. I think it's just as simple as that. But then again, you'd expect those things to be on the same tools, possibly as well. So maybe it's again by accident, maybe different how they tool these things up. But effectively, yeah, we're looking at secondaries, accessories, and figure parts in different colors there. And again, I think this Baroness is going to be amazing. I do really enjoy the different options we've got with the hairstyles, with the headgear, the helmet again as well. Like there's a lot to enjoy about this figure, and there's a lot of talk about her having a very similar design to her original blue Baroness from the cartoon and the comic. And I see it. I'm with you guys, and I think that that's probably a pre-paint scenario we've got going on here, where we see this version first, and we'll probably see this Baroness again revealed in the same way we did Cobra Commander, in the same way we'll have with Ripcord and with Crazy Legs, the same way we saw with Glenda in a sense. A sort of again, that's more of a retool and repaint of Retro Scarlet, but that's what we're seeing here, basically. Thank you, Tor. Much appreciated for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Buy a pint or two for your team to bond down the pub, haha. Or maybe you can make a popsicle raft for Joe's. I love that comment very much. Thank you, Tor, and thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, the bald. Yeah, I like the bald look actually on Baroness there, Leon. Thank you, Tor. Much appreciated. Right. Another check. It's gone up 3 in the last couple of minutes. It's gone up another 2. We're at 9:55. My goodness, that's moving. Yeah, I'm not going to drag this one out. We're not going to go for hours and hours, but we'll obviously keep going here. We've got the sort of like, I want to say presentation art, but it's obviously not. It's part of the input drawings, but coloured in. So we have the Baroness there posing number 1, I guess. She's the number 1. And of course the deco homage on her flight helmet to that Baroness pilot helmet in the cartoon, which is kind of cool. They aren't going to recreate. They aren't going to create that awesome Baroness mold and not reuse it. Totally right, Yorktown Joe. It's clearly going to be there's going to be a lighter blue and yellow version of this one at some point, almost certainly. Green shades, indeed. Yeah, definitely. Did I see the new Mega Constructs leak? Oh, no pass. Hiss Driver. Was that I've missed it, unfortunately. I've been checking old Brian Blox's page a lot as well, and I am very annoyed that I missed that if it was him that posted it. I can't see anything on his page, so was it leaked elsewhere? Let me know where it was leaked, because I want to see that. Hiss Driver, you say? Did you say Hiss Driver? Yeah, Hiss Driver. For some reason, that's not a Hiss Driver. No, it's not on Brian Blox's page. So interesting. Yeah, if you I'd love to see. Oh, okay. It's on Reddit, which is really cool. Let's have a look. So, thank you, Ben, for just messaging this to me. Oh, it is a Hiss Driver. Look at that. Breaking news. That's not my hand, but it looks like my hand. It's not. I'm not holding. It's a picture of a hand holding a Hiss Driver Mega Constructs, which is really cool. Yeah, it's breaking news right now. That's really neat. And the other image they have on here is obviously these two lads. It's Ace and Duke, which we've seen multiple times already in clearer images, of course, as well. But there they are as well. So maybe we're getting some. Maybe this could be a what's the word? Hiss Driver with Hiss Tank. Ace Duke with the Sky Striker, sort of Mattel, what do they call it? The creations situation. So yeah, that's neat. I'll kind of do we'll add it to the news somehow. But yeah, that's cool to see. I'll do a post later, and then yeah, I've talked about it here. I've put it on the screen. That's all you're getting. But anyway, thanks for that. Much appreciated. I'll repost that in a second. Thank you, Ben Suzuki, for messaging that to me right away. Much appreciated. How many scales of hisses can we count now? So you've got the mini figure from like back in the day, the mini vehicle that came with the with 3 3/4 figures. You've got the Jada Toys one, you've got mini, you've got the slightly bigger Jada Toys one, like the much bigger Jada Toys one. You've got the original version, the 3 3/4 version. Then you've got the classified HASLAB, and you've got the COLLAB, which I guess is a different version, even though it's the same as the original version, right? Scale wise. So we'll probably take that one down as scales. So maybe 5, right? Is that right? Did they do one in any other in any of the other scales? I might have missed one, but pretty cool either way. X Factor's great having you back this weekend, Chris. And as a celebration, I finally ordered my Rattler during this show. Awesome. Awesome. There's that like light up ornament size one that came out a few years ago. Oh, okay. Thanks, Paul. That adds another scale hiss to the proceedings. Anyway, I'm gonna say thank you to Ben if you're watching now. In the comment. Right, I'll post that in a second. Now, where are we with the Baroness, more importantly, now that we're looking at her? Because imagine if we got to the Baroness here and she unlocked. No, 957. It's going up very slowly. Creo Hiss. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. Yes, a Creo Hiss. Very good shout. They did do one, right? I feel like if they didn't, they've missed an actual trick there with Creo. They did every other vehicle, it feels like. I probably have one as well because I think I got all the Creo sets. I just haven't. I've never got them out. Kitty said they've always just stayed in the box and the boxes, including some of the sets that came out that weren't branded. Do you remember those? They kind of ended up in dollar stores. They were GI Joe sets, but they weren't branded on the box. Oh, sorry. I see. Sorry, Ben. You'll pass, aren't you? I wasn't aware of that until just right this second. And you told me before as well. But thank you, Pastor Pierogi, for sending me that message. Anyway, Baroness, we're nearly there. 17,959. My goodness. It's definitely happening today, but it's probably not going to happen during the show because I'm going to be finishing soon. Anyway, there's the Baroness and Wild Weasel all painted up and looking freaking awesome. I think just talking about this Baroness now is making me want this 18k to hit like now. Creo Hiss, sorry, Max, came with the Terradrome as one option. I think it's been years. That sounds about right. Yeah. I was just sorting Creo last night. Yes, Creo Hiss confirmed. Thank you, Yorktown Joe. I should have bought those tiny vehicles to make a 6-inch scale battle model like Gung Ho plays with. Yes, Leon in the cartoon. Yeah. They even did that for the Gung Ho Ultimates figure for Super 7, didn't they? They gave him a little tank or a little Wolverine or something that he picks up. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Anyway, you were just assuming, Jeremy. I thought so. The question. I did not notice the question mark, unfortunately. Sorry, mate. As well as all of those images that they posted, the great Tonino, also Tony, of course, on Instagram, posted his render of Wild Weasel. Now, a couple of things that he pointed out to people in the comments as well. Did you see those little kind of straps to the right hand side? They can go over where the maps were. So if you take the maps off his thighs, those straps can be attached to the thighs to kind of create straps, basically. So that's what they are. And I didn't know. I thought they were magazines for something that we just they just forgot to put the rifle in or something. But no, they are little strap options for his thighs. I'm probably gonna have the maps on there the whole time, but whatever you want, you've got options, guys. You've got options. I talked about the Jada Toys, the 2 Hiss tanks from Jada Toys, Carl. Yeah, cool. All right then. Well, then on top of that, we also got images of their label sheets, which I thought were really, really Cool. In fact, there's a really awesome little drop in here, which I'm not sure if people realize is an homage, but I'm gonna school you anyway. I'm sure you're all gonna be aware anyway. It's like, I don't even tell people this half the time. You do already know this stuff. Of course you do. But first of all, blue and yellow Baroness on a missile is almost like the most obvious. They might as well have done a retro Scarlet for the Dragonfly in the similar kind of way, because it looks like we're going to get this Baroness, doesn't it, eventually, based on that figure. Um, so anyway, that's awesome. I like it. Nice little kind of like pin-up style Baroness on it, riding a missile, like a bomb, I should say, with best regards written on it, which is hilarious. Now, as you go through the label sheets, you come to this one, and it's got some fun ones, got some cute ones, it's got some silly ones. There's like the Cobra Commander riding a horse with a blooming, lance, whatever it is, as well. You've got like a family saying our family's deadlier or something like that. My family is deadlier. But then one of the things that kind of stood out to me was the fact they got the Red Shadows logos on there, right? Now, a lot of people might just be like, oh, they're just throwing them on there, whatever. But I genuinely believe this is an homage to the fact that Wild Weasel was Red Wolf in the Palatoy era, and was packaged with the second or third iteration of the Robo Skull. I say second or third because it was like packaging variations, weren't there? But anyway, the last Robo Skulls that were out, the kind of like most the ones that had like the new logo, the new deco, tampos and stickers and stuff, to make them in like the '85 era where everything was like GI Joe figures on Palatoy cards. We got a Robo Skull with Wild Weasel, and he wasn't called Wild Weasel; he was called Red Wolf. So I think it's like a nice little nod to that particular usage in um, in the Palatoy era. So again, some nice foreign nods. So I don't think it's just the case of let's just throw some Red Shadow stickers in there for lols. Like there's an homage reason there as well, which I think is really cool. But these are some fun little cutesy little stickers. You don't have to put them on, of course. For the most part, this is it's customizable, so you can do whatever you want with it. And I think some of them are really, really fun. Yeah, the classified Cobra Commander plus Pet Deluxe, a horse and lance tour. Could you imagine? A horse would be really good in the classified series. I want the classified series to just become an animal, like basically an up a much better version of Schleich. Do you know what I mean? Like an articulated version of that. But yeah, very, very cool. And then also, I think the Cobra Commander on the horseback kind of thing as well is a nice nod to that. Is it Napoleon piece of art that was kind of utilized, co-opted, and then redone sort of as Cobra Commander with the horse kind of like rising up for the Super 7 by Jason Edmiston, the Super 7 piece that was hung in their store, that then also kind of I think came out as a puzzle as well. But in any case, I think there's a nice little kind of nod to sort of that vibe as well. But I think that's really cool. Bus Wars is way over my head. Do not understand that sticker. I didn't either. But maybe it's got something to do with the fact that the buses. Oh, reference to Wild Weasel's file card. Thank you, Paul. Let's just have a quick look at that Wild Weasel card while we're here. Bear with me. I love it when I go quiet on a stream. I always wonder, like the people listening, just listening to the audio, kind of like, what's happened? Where's he gone? So, Wild Weasel cut his teeth in the bus wars of South America and Africa during the last decade. There you go. And it was a misprint, was it? What was it supposed to say? Do we know what it was supposed to say? What were the wars of South America and Africa during the last decade? What were they called? I don't know. South America and Africa wars last decade. Here we go. I can't see anything that would be close to bus. I'm going to list the conflicts in Africa. Bush wars. Thank you. Thank you, guys. That was a lot easier than me just searching for it. That's even better. The fact that it was a misprint, it stayed in there, and they've done a sticker for it is amazing. That's great. That is really great. One of the reasons I wasn't aware of that file card situation was twofold. One, I didn't have a Rattler as a kid, and two, I didn't have a Rattler as a kid, and I only ever read the file cards I had, like in detail, and then if I've had to do like episodes where I've had to do some sort of like refresher of what was in there, some sort of research, then obviously I've read them in detail at that point. But Bus Wars is hilarious, and I love the fact that the brand is littered with these kind of errors. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of it's funny to me. Some of the best file card errors, though. Oh my god, there is a terrible one on Frostbite, Tiger Force Frostbite's card. The GI Joe the Action Force version, or the UK release of that vehicle. The card is like they've made a change, but then they've cut out a bit of the text and they've put two words in the wrong place, and it throws the line off so much that it's like, what is this? This isn't even. This is like an alien language right now. Amazing. Anyway, thank you guys. I should look at the Action Force one to see if they corrected it or did. Often they made their own errors, though. They made their own errors. Sometimes continued the error, sometimes fixed it, or they changed it because it's grammatically different, culturally and all that jazz. But I'm looking. I'm going to check. So that would have been 87 for the Rattler, right? Or 88. Maybe it was 88. Or maybe, no, it was 88. Okay. And let's get that file card up, please. Weasel. Bus Wars. It's Bus Wars. Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to get a close-up of that. I want to see it with my own eyeballs. God, if I could. Can't even zoom in on that. Anyway, yeah, Bus Wars. They continued the error, which is great. Where are all the no step stickers? Indeed, we need more of those. Here's a ton of different decals as well. You've got obviously the Z06. You've got the 41. You've got all of the different Air Force kind of Cobra insignias as well. Yeah, nice. Standard issue. These are nice as well. These are kind of a bit more kind of dynamic for the kind of like the front of the Rattler, so you can have like different mouths. There's like like the Warthog, which is really cool because obviously it's based or a very slight inspiration. I mean, it's more than slight. It's pretty clear that the inspiration was an A10 Warthog, but that's why they've got the Warthog mouth on there too. They've also got the Rattler head with the little Rattler tail, which is a nice touch as well. And of course the Air Force and regular insignia as well, which is cool. Nice nose art indeed. And then we've got the Cobra Airborne and the Military Armaments Research Syndicate, aka Mars. Oh, that's a nice, cute logo. Have they done that before? Or is that new? I don't feel like I've seen that version of the Mars logo before, but I may be mistaken. That might be the first version of that logo, though, because that looks really cool. We've also got Wild Weasel, Cobra Rattler. That's a nice one. You've obviously got a weasel with a lightning bolt cutting through it. And then Rather Be Flying, which is cute too. Very nice indeed. I think, is that all of them? No, that is all of them. Now we'll move on quickly to Nemesis Immortal. So these leaked images popped out as well quite recently. I can't even remember who posted them. My apologies. I'm going to look now because I want to obviously credit the correct people, don't I? Now, and they came from Weibo at the end of the day, I believe. Man, how long ago was that? But it's Bobby B. Bobby B posted these. So shout out to Bobby B for these images. And of course, we've got our first proper look at those wings and the kind of opaque nature of the flesh parts of those wings, which are really cool. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I don't think those wings would support his weight. Kind of makes Nemesis Immortal unrealistic, in my opinion. Yeah, Ryan, that makes him unrealistic. Um, the best part of these is you don't use them on the Rattler. They make great diorama decals. Oh, right. Yes, Max, the decals. Yeah, absolutely. That looks new to me for Mars logo. Yeah, I don't think I've seen a Mars logo like that yet. Anyway, there is Nemesis Immortal. Looks incredible, by the way. The detail, the sculpt, the size, the color. I'm down for this one. I don't know why they put him in a plant pot, but it's pretty cool. Almost like growing him in like Cobra La. I like it. And then, of course, we've got this one, which I can't see the figure. I don't know what we're looking at here. Yeah, you've got the sniper, marine sniper in her ghillie suit. Again, in a plant pot. Perfect place to put them when they're trying to camouflage. But this one looks really cool as well. I can't wait for those figures to come out. Especially this one and the Halo jumper. Oh man, they look crazy good. I recently bust out my Action Soldier and Sailor, and they're so good. They're so good. Anyway, and then of course we've got Road Pig and Raucous and an Iron Grenadier in the background doing a little pose. I like how he's posing in the most ridiculous ways. I think that's also quite adorable. Raucous looks adorable there. And funnily enough, I had surgery a while back on my shoulder. Can you see the scar? There you go. Look at that bad boy. I had a lump removed, a little kind of it was like a little what are they called? I forgot the term now, but it was basically cut out. It was like just there, lump like growing in my arm. That came out and it looked exactly like what's like the skull thing that's on Road Pig's right shoulder right now, which is kind of funny. Anyway, that's just to make you guys throw up in your mouth a little bit. But anyway, that's great. I do love it. I think this Road Pig looks phenomenal as well. I can't wait to have these figures in hand, seriously. And then, of course, this image showing all the figures that are kind of up and coming. Torch obviously is already out, but we've got Starduster in there in package, Road Pig and Raucous, Iron Grenadiers, and of course Raptor in the top left as well. Very excited to get all of those figures in hand. Lipoma, thank you, Diana. It was, yes, it was a lipoma. Jedi Ben, thank you. Yes, I think I've actually told you that in the past already as well. I think I actually said what it was and just forgot. Then, of course, we also got these listings posted the other day, which makes me very scared for the upcoming PulseCon pre-order drop, because I did say, based on what we knew from the listings, that it was very likely these things were going to be coming as PulseCon pre-orders. So it's not a surprise. But when I look at all of this and I look at Starduster as well, I'm thinking, my goodness, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 11 orders, pre-orders, whatever you want to call them, in one go. And I know they did 9 once, and that was a lot. That was this year, actually, wasn't it? 9, I think we had. They may have done more in the past, but I feel like this is a lot. But then again, it is PulseCon. They're probably making a big deal of it. It's cool. Do I think some of this might be 1027? Not a bad possibility there, Jeremy. Although the more I look at this and the fact there's no Nemesis Immortal listing makes me wonder if Nemesis Immortal is going to be 1027. Do you know what I mean? Either way, we're probably going to see some stuff next week, right? Do we see all of it? Possibly. Is it likely as well that we might see some stuff a bit further on? Also very likely. We do have some dates on these, don't we, as well? Like April, May, March. I mean, it's March, April, May. It's within 3 months of each other, so it's quite possible that we could do PulseCon 1027 and then the end of the year, possibly. So it could be spread out a little bit more than we're seeing right now. But it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing all of these posted on Amazon at this moment. Now, we do know we know what they all are, but we know publicly what the majority of them are. So the Legacy RR Tommy is a 60th sort of release, but we can't say what it is yet. There are hints out there as to what it could be, but I'm not going to say. Salvador, we know, is Law and Order, so we know that's a figure pet set, 44.99. And we know, of course, that Salvador's been Law and Order this entire time, so check. Daria, BB Daria Deluxe, is heavy duty. The BB designation, a few people asked this on, I think, a few of the platforms, but the BB designation refers to a standard deluxe kind of release, something that is still, it's not an exclusive, basically. So all the BBs are like, your deluxe, your figure pets, those kind of things. Whereas TT would be the designation for any exclusives, whether they be Fanmazon, Target, Walmart, etc., etc. Okay. In fact, actually, no, Walmart. Sorry, not Walmart. No, all exclusives except Walmart and Target. Walmart and Target have their own designations now, which I think are SP for Target and GG for Walmart, I want to say. Either way, BB just means standard release, so you can get it pretty much anywhere. Okay, Law and Order as a figure pet, as you've got all of the figure pets pretty much everywhere. Daria Deluxe heavy duty, we know that's heavy duty at 34.99 as a deluxe figure, and it's just going to be standard release. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on Amazon either, would it? It'd either be a Fanmazon or it'd be a regular. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Retro AN Elmira is rock and roll. So we know that Elmira is rock and roll. We know that Pinky is the Viper. Yeah, Pinky's the Viper, and Brain is Dr. Mindbender, because Brain is so obviously Dr. Mindbender. I love that. So we've got rock and roll as Elmira, Pinky is the Viper, and Brain is going to be Dr. Mindbender. So again, all making sense and all lining up with their name only reveals and all that kind of stuff as well. And and renders in a second, because we're going to be talking about these on the right hand side. Lisa, now these four on the right hand side are standard retail for figure waves, right? We have 4 of them on the listings. These are the last for 2024, but they're the first in hand 2025, if that makes sense. So that's why they're on the 2025 listings, because it's when we get them in hand. Okay. Now Lisa, Marge, Maggie, and Homer are, Lisa is Dial Tone, Marge is Leatherneck, Maggie is Saw Viper, Homer is Xandar. So we know that Xandar, Saw Viper, Leatherneck, and Dial Tone are coming. We've seen digital renders of them. So we know that the next phase is pre-order and figures in hand. So all of this just makes sense when you look at it. I know we're kind of doing the detective work here, but it all just makes sense as what we could be seeing for PulseCon, and of course, what we could be seeing going forward for the rest of the year. Tor says, is the SS a new code or meaning? The SS indicates it's a Simpsons designation, and it effectively, the SS refers to standard retail waves of 4 figures, Tor. Okay, so all of your, Night Creeper would have been was an SS, but would be now going forward. But for 2025, the designation SS. We'll look at it on the listings here on 2025. So as you can see, every single SS listing is down the left hand side, and it is a standard retail wave of 4. I've even got SS in the brackets there as well to help. And then on the other side, we've got exclusives and miscellaneous, which you've got your BBs, your SPs, your GGs, your TTs. Now they talk about, like, they reference what the actual theme is, but they also mean something separately, secondary as well, if that makes sense. So your kind of TT represents the tick in terms of the theme. So you've got Sewer Urchin, Terror, American Made, Arthur, Man Cow, Red Scare, Dinosaur Neil, etc., etc. Right? We know that that's the tick related theme. So that ties it together in that sense. And then it also means that the TTs also mean exclusives other than Target and Walmart. So Fanmazon, Pulse, SDCC, PulseCon, etc., etc. Okay. What's Legacy Tommy? It's not Storm Shadow version 2, Daniel. That was a completely different release from previous. In fact, it's on this page, isn't it? Bam Bam was Storm Shadow. No, the Legacy is another name for the 60th. And Tommy and Angelica are from the Rugrats. Do you see where I'm going with this? So the RR represents Rugrats, but the RR designation also connects to the 60th, or in this case, Legacy, which looks to be the name going forward. I hope that helps with everyone there in the questions. Oh, blooming hell! I haven't even been paying attention to the Haslab. Where are we with that currently? Close is where we are with it. 17973. I might just, I need to hang on till it comes through. In any case, will we be seeing all of these for PulseCon? Possibly. Is it likely that we might see them spread out throughout the rest of the year? Also possible. But the fact they've gone up listings wise at this point, I don't know. I feel like they've also been up there for a long time, like hidden, and just not been seen or spotted or found. But yeah, I think I would personally hazard a guess that we might see the stuff on the left for PulseCon, like your legacy figure or 60th, whatever it may be, Law and Order, Heavy Duty, and then the retro wave, possibly for PulseCon, and then maybe they'll hold back the retail wave of 4 for the end of the year. Maybe 1027 is a place where we get a few other aspects, a few other figures kind of released or revealed. I think if I had to guess or bet, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this all on Friday. Honestly, on the September the 13th. I would also not be surprised if Nemesis Immortal showed up at 1027. But I know at the moment we don't have confirmation on any of that. So all we know is that it's very likely that we're going to see something for PulseCon, aren't we? We're going to see a decent amount of stuff for PulseCon. So is it going to be all of that? Don't know. But we'll see very soon. And we'll be doing episodes beforehand. If we get any more information, we'll be doing reactions to PulseCon. Hopefully we'll be able to set up the interview with Lenny and Tony following the show. Like I said, that had to be rescheduled, of course, for obvious reasons. And yeah, and we'll still be going ahead. There you go. Okay, cool. So that is that. We don't really need to look at 2024 anymore, but I will do, because it does relate obviously to Starduster, which hopefully will be going up on Friday as well. Well, I'm sure it will be, of course, because it's a show exclusive, PulseCon exclusive. So yeah, get ready for that one. And then of course Nemesis Immortal 1027 maybe, or maybe they just reveal them all at PulseCon. Maybe PulseCon is just, we're going to do them all, and then you just got the rest of the year to relax. You can just chill the hell out. 1027, we're just going to talk some crap all for like 5 hours or whatever. I do like 1027. And I really have liked the last few years where G.I. Joe was... Actually, no, it wasn't last year. Like towards the end of the show for G.I. Joe. And I was really getting annoyed because I wanted to do the live reaction to it, but I had to wait. One of those was like that. But the year before, I remember them doing it first. It was well good. Anyway, lots of cool stuff to enjoy and lots of stuff around the corner. Now, 2025... as I just mentioned there, we're going to be seeing a lot of this. We'll either see it or we'll be able to pre-order it, or both, next week, which is crazy to me. And obviously, like I said, the reason that those listings are in 2025 is because that's when they'll be in hand, not when they're revealed. So that's why it says 2025 listings. And that's why we have 4 lots of 4 figure waves throughout the year. Anyway, that is pretty much everything, I think. Hopefully we'll have a few more things to unlock. Of course, there'll be name only reveals, there'll be digital renders to add. I'm almost certain of that as well. But yeah, okay, cool. These are the name only reveals that we are sitting on currently: Footloose, Heavy Duty, Law and Order, Blowtorch, and Retro Rock and Roll. And of course, Frag Viper, Mindbender, and Vipers for Cobra. I'm hoping there'll be, like I said, there'll be more to add to this next week. I'm sure, and of course to the renders, which I did add Wild Weasel to, because technically he's not out yet, and there is a render for it, so I threw him in there. So there you go. There'll be arguments going on now as well. Why don't you have Raptor and Road Pig and all those that we do have renders for? Well, for one reason, that because you've already been able to pre-order them, and I know you've already been able to pre-order Wild Weasel as well, but it's not official yet. So that only comes down when when this ends in a couple of days. 1975. Sorry, 17975. My goodness, we're that really close to unlocking the Baroness. Anyway, that's that. We'll get into shout outs next, and I'll finish the show off. There's a lot to get into, so let's do it. Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding. Right then, I'm actually going to start. I know you usually start with Pat and all those ones, and those get those done first. But what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to make this as brief as possible before I break down again. But yeah, we unfortunately had to say goodbye to our very gorgeous and beautiful little angel Phoebe. She was a wonderful, amazing little pupper, and we're going to miss her very, very much. She joins her little brother Max in doggy heaven, and I just wanted to make a big point about, because she was such a big part of the show as well. What was one of those things I'm going to miss, hearing her barking, walking around upstairs. Like I could hear a little tapping around sometimes when she'd be walking around. And of course, she even made it to a couple of episodes as well. I remember showing her off a few times on the show. And yeah, she was amazing. She's the best little pupper ever. And we miss her very much. So I just wanted to make that brief, because I'm going to break down probably. But that is one of the main, obviously Phoebe was one of the main reasons why we had that little hiatus, the only reason really. But yeah, I just wanted to make a big shout out to her and to say she will be absolutely missed. And of course to Kate, all the families and everything, we love you guys, and thank you so much as well for all the beautiful things that you guys said on our personal posts, on the Full Force posts as well. We genuinely really appreciate all of that. And yeah, thank you so much for all the support. It's been, and thank you for your patience as well. I know, not doing the show, it's not that big a deal, but I know a lot of you guys enjoy this stuff, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do it. It's just been really difficult. And yeah, anyway, to Phoebes, love you, my little pickle. Also shout out to Pat and Phil, of course, Articulated Points. Pat can, like I said, Pat allowed me to do this one solo this week, just so I could get back into the rhythm of things. So I appreciate Pat for allowing me to do that. Thank you, buddy. We'll be back together again next week. Have no fear about that. And of course, massive shout out to Phil, of course. Go check out Articulated Points. In fact, they've got another video up at the moment, a new one. Pat with Chris Murray did they did an amazing kind of like panel and videos for ARMA, for Assembly Required Mobile Online Rally. And that and it was all about eco warriors, and it's amazing. And they're going to put them up into different parts on their Articulated Points episodes, and they're going to add stuff in that wasn't in those particular episodes. So yeah, massive shout out to Pat and to Chris Murray, of course, who was in that episode. Go check out, they're really awesome. Thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Zartan, I appreciate that. That's a very, very sweet super chat. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. Thank you, Zartan. Usually such an evil villain, and that's so sweet. That's so sweet of the Master of Disguise. Thank you as well, Hydrus. Very much appreciate the super chat, dude. That's really, really kind. Thank you. Thank you for all you do, Chris. Just remember, for all the D-bags out there, there are many, many of us that appreciate what it is that you do. Much love, brother, and my condolences to you and the wife on your loss. Thank you very much, Hydrus. It's very much appreciated, truly. And thank you for all the lovely comments, guys. I genuinely appreciate it. And I can't get into it, otherwise I will probably break down. And no one wants to see that on the show, I'm pretty sure. So yes, massive shout out to Articulate Points, to Chris, and of course Pat for that latest episode. To Brian Sauer, massive shout out to Brian for all of our wonderful graphics, and of course the man behind Assembly Required, which we are aiming to try and go to this year. So fingers crossed that can all happen. November 8th and the 9th of this year, of course, Des Moines, Iowa. You can actually go on their Codename Iowa website and get more information. They've also been posting a bunch of updates very recently, excuse me, including, so let's see, what have I got first? The Friday dinner has been sold out, but they said with the Friday night group dinner selling out so fast, we are looking into options to allow more fans to get in on the fun. If you are interested in attending the dinner, please add your name to the wait list. More info to come. And you can find that at codenameiowa.com/dinner. Or you could just go and find that link we posted a few days ago on our Facebook page. Okay. Or you could go to codenameiowa.com, or you could go to Codename Iowa's Facebook page or their Instagram. There are many ways to find this link. So go nuts, including all the links in the description below as well. They also have announced that this beauty is happening for the classified scale, the 6-inch scale, which is bonkers. I just want to get all the info for it, which I can't seem to find now, typically. Nearly there. Got to get back into the swing of things. Every laird needs a lair. That's why the 2024 gear kit includes the Destro's Castle playset, available in both 112 and 118 scale. Secure a throne to call your own by pre-ordering your gear kit by October 21st at 11:59 p.m. So we've got the 118th scale kind of like front of the castle here, and you've got this 112 scale interior, which is pretty cool. I like that very much. And again, you can get your gear kits at codenameiowa.com, link in the description again. They'll be available to pick up at Assembly Required on November 8th and 9th, or choose shipping and we'll send it after the show. Cool. As well as that, they've also announced that Mark Pennington is going to be at the show. Now, he was a primary figure designer for Hasbro from 86 to 89 and helped create more than 75 memorable characters during his stint, including the 1988 Iron Grenadiers. Codename Iowa is pleased to announce that Mr. Pennington will be joining us at AR24 as a special guest. That's pretty awesome. If you haven't met Mark, definitely need to. I have the pleasure of having dinner with Mr. Mark Pennington, and probably ruined it by telling him my Barcelona story, which I may tell you guys in the future, maybe one of these days. It's terrible, and just it basically, we're at dinner table, by the way. Tell the story, and I think who else was there? There was Kirk was there, Adam Richards was there, obviously Kate was there. There was a few other legends there as well. And I told the story of when I got food poisoning in Barcelona. It's terrible. It's the worst story to tell at a dinner table, and they all loved it. Anyway, I'm definitely trying to be at Assembly Required this year, Paul. 100%, yeah. Now, as well as that, we also have a Skeletron appearance as well at Assembly Required. And they posted a special Yojo to Skeletron as an official sponsor of Assembly Required. They not only help keep the show free on Saturday, but also keep the kids and kids at heart excited with their annual colouring contest. Actually, that is a lot of fun. Be sure to fly by their booth and say thanks to the event, and visit skeletron.com to see all the mad experiments they're up to now. Yes, and speaking of Skeletron, they did post some updates. We've got a 6-inch Wolf Trooper test shot, which looks mag-bloody-nificent. I can't wait for these figures, I swear. So we've got, obviously, the 3 3/4 Skeletron figures that and kind of Wolf Troopers that have kind of been out and been shipped. We've had the 4-inch figures, including Gary goggles version, like the Gyre Viper and all those, they've gone out as well. We now are waiting for the 6-inch Wolf Troopers. I think the Jungle Troopers as well at 4-inch. They've still got to kind of come. And then we've also got obviously the Roboskulls themselves, but they're still on track to getting these things delivered as they kind of laid out at either the beginning of this year or the end of last year. But we're hoping that everything stays on track. But at the moment, we're getting a lot of good information back. So I'm very excited for these figures to be coming in. We've also got this image of the Wolf Trooper test shot, which is phenomenal. And of course, the Robo Knight mask, new steel mold. Cool to see all this stuff, actually, isn't it? We see a lot of the factory stuff, we see a lot of the mold stuff, and it's really interesting to see this kind of like behind the scenes bits and pieces. Like you don't often see steel molds, so it's really nice that we get a lot from Skeletron, basically showing off their steel mold stuff. And of course, the Roboskull Mark II as well, the production version of it, which looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to have these in hand. Like, oh my goodness. Um, anyway, that is everything from Skeletron, but not technically, because they're also involved in the Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasury Editions that are still available for pre-order, of course. That you don't have the 33% deal, but you do have the 25% deal at the moment. Currently, link in the description for the pre-order for that one. You can pre-order all three, or you can pre-order individual, whatever you want to do. Go do it though, because once that pre-order offer's done, that'll be it. But yeah, get involved because these things are beautiful, and it collects, a lot of the stories from that Battle Action Force era, just prior really to the kind of Cobra in a kind of inclusion. So if these do really well, which they've been doing really well, if these do even better than they're doing right now, it's the likelihood that we get the rest of the stories from the kind of GI Joe incorporated aspects of the Palatoy Action Force stuff is very likely to happen. So let's get these done and dusted, because I want these in hand so bad. So yeah, massive shout out to Brian. Now also, Word Burglar has released a new track, The War in Wardrobe, and it's like a little EP, as well, like 2 tracks to it. So you can, again, link in the description. I think I don't have a link in the description, actually. You have to go on our Facebook page. I forgot to put this in our description. Go to our Facebook page and yeah, literally get this on Bandcamp, because it's brilliant. 2 more GI Joe inspired tracks from Word Burglar. I'm not the producer on any of these, unfortunately, but we have been working together very recently, so there is more to come from Diagnostic 80 and the Word Burglar. But in the meantime, get in on this. I'll be speaking with Word Burglar about this soon as well, so hopefully we'll be talking about these tracks on an interview very soon. Anyway, massive shout out to Word Burglar. Go check it out. Brilliant, brilliant tracks. GI Joe related as well. And look at all of the cool little art pieces. Look at the artwork and see if you can pick out all of the cool GI Joe kind of related aspects, including a sewing machine hiss tank, which is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen in my life, and I want one. Now, the last shout out I want to give is for the awesome Ray Murphy, who did this beautiful SAS vamp. This thing is phenomenal. Just a few backers away. So I just wanted to shout Ray out for this beautiful piece of work. Not only has he got the SAS vamp here with beautiful decos, but he's stickers and tampos, but he's also got a repainted retro Snake Eyes as Stalker, which is phenomenal. Dave Howlett did the Word Burglar. He did Paul, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, sorry. So massive shout out to Ray and this amazing piece of work. Here it is with his other customized HMS, which he did as the SAS mobile missile system as well, which is really cool. Again, I love these so much. Ray does such incredible work. Oh, it's Brian Sauer. Sorry, Brian did that cover art? Of course he did. I'm an idiot. Brian did the blooming cover art, not Dave Howlett. So yeah, that's amazing from Brian Sauer. Massive shout out to Brian. I actually don't know who did the artwork now that you're saying that you're not sure. But I think it might be Brian. Either way, I'm going to have to find out. Maybe Brian could tell me. Maybe Wordburglar could just tell me. But it's absolutely gorgeous. No matter whoever did it, it's amazing, and we'll shout out who it definitely is next time. But look at these absolutely beautiful images, and then of course, from the front shot here of Ray's work, another side angle. Isn't it just so clean? I love the black and yellow as well. It's phenomenal, and of course the tanks on the back. And then there's a whole team. Look, you got Eagle, you've got Sparrowhawk, you've got Blades, and you've got Stalker. Just absolutely phenomenal. Love it very much. Ray does amazing stuff, basically, and I cannot wait. Oh, it's definitely Dave Howlett. Thank you. Okay, Paul. Definitely Dave Howlett on the art. Okay, Dave Howlett did do the art. Sorry, it wasn't Brian. Brian has done some art for Wordburglar though, just maybe not on the cover. But anyway, I think we've covered that now. But yeah, beautiful stuff and amazing stuff from Ray. There's a little comparison, of course, with the original SAS kind of vamp as well, which is really cool. Cool. Image by Dave. How you're saying Hewlett now, and Brian did color and logo by Brian. Okay, so oh, guys, pick a lane. Pick a lane. Basically, Brian and Dave on the art. It's amazing. And Ray, of course, on this beautiful custom. That's it. We have reached the end, and we are how many backers away? 8 backers away from unlocking the Baroness. Isn't that's funny? If I'd have started at 11, I'd have been talking about the unlock of the Baroness, wouldn't I? Sorry, if I'd started at 10, I should say, we'd have been well home and dry. Or maybe we are. Maybe it has hit it. No, still 92. I'm getting anyway. Okay, Dave Howlett, Brian Sauer for the Wordburglar art. Beautiful stuff, guys. Thank you very much. Anyway, thank you so much for bearing with me. I know we've actually gone a lot longer than I expected now, but thank you very much for bearing with me in a very difficult time. I very much appreciate it. And thank you so much for all the really kind comments. I genuinely appreciate all of your support, guys, very much so, whether that's your listeners, viewers, strong interactors, or if it's people on the Patreon, if you're giving us money for it. I appreciate all of you very much, and I appreciate all of the patience you've given me. And while I continue to stall 5 backers away, we're nearly there. I'm just going to hang on until we hit 18k, because it's going to happen and it's fine. I'm going to have to do a news burst in 10 minutes. Yeah, that's exactly right, Mac. No, what I'm going to do is I'll post this stuff, but obviously I won't. I'll see what news happens during the week. I'm sure there'll be leaks. I'm sure there'll be news coming out all over the place. There's obviously the HIS driver as well, which was an impressive little addition on the mega blocks, or the mega constructs, or the mega as they're actually called. We're there. We've done it. Yay! 18k and 1. We are there. We have done it. Baroness is unlocked. I'm going to leave it there. What a great way to finish the episode. Like I said, thank you so much for being patient with everything. And we will be back very soon, of course. I've got lots of things sort of lined up. I don't know when and how they're going to be done, but we're going to try and get them done as soon as we possibly can. Of course, we've got the rather important PulseCon coming on Friday, but then of course I'll be hopefully doing the HASBRO interview following that. So next week, the following week after, of course. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I've also reached out to Brian Flynn. I want to talk to him about obviously O-ring stuff and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get these things going. Like I said, thank you very much for remaining patient with everything, guys, and hopefully see you very soon. Have a great rest of your day. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. In case you forgot, it's there. Look, cool. Laters, guys.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Full Force. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well, @The Full Force Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.